So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to my systems engineer, Jamie Jackson. He's going to dig into a little bit on how do we manage these docs, what are the tools, and what other things do we get out of this. So thank you. Appreciate your time today.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. So first of all, Joe, can you hear me?
Gotcha.
Got it. Thank you. So Joe already talked about the docs. And again, I saw a couple of hand claps, thumbs up. Sounds like we've done a pretty good job from a hardware standpoint. So one of the customer feedbacks that we actually received as well is, hey, you guys have great docs. The challenge that we're running into is firmware updates. Today, the firmware update process is you go to our site, you download the executable, and then you run it, and you do that on an individual basis. So what the team went back to the lab and came up with was this management console. So the management console is called Dell Device Management Console. It was actually released two weeks ago when our new docks were released. This is a managed console that gives you the ability to push that firmware now. So you can create policy that you can define the firmware that you want to use and spread that across your entire enterprise or organization, or in the case of the management console, group. And so now when you bring in new docs, they all are at the same firmware version. So, again, you buy a new one out of the box, plug it in, get it connected. And the first thing it does is reads that policy updates to the firmware that you've approved. Now, you can define the firmware, but you can also allow it to go out and update to the latest firmware version. So there's flexibility there. So again, we focused on that docking and making sure that with our new smart docks, we have a way for you to, number one, manage it, number two, push that firmware to it so it gets the proper code to work the way you need it to. Now, while the team was in the lab, they said, you know what? While we're here, why don't we do something crazy? So next slide. So that craziness is, hey, if we can do this with docks, why can't we do this with other peripherals? So I'll just tell you again, letting you see behind the curtain from a Dell standpoint, we've looked at this tool as a great way to manage all of our peripherals. So today, the plan or the focus is on our smart docking solution. But you'll see throughout the year, we're going to be making some advancements in this tool, which give you the same capability for your standard docks, your displays, your mouse keyboard, your headset, your webcams, all of those peripheral devices that today you still have to maintain firmware, you still have to update drivers, but now we're going to give you a mechanism that allows you to do that remotely. Now, again, I threw a little curveball in there, and I don't know if anybody heard me, but believe it or not, you can do more than just update the firmware. You'll also be able to do configurations. So think about, from a monitor standpoint, being able to define the resolution that you want to use across a monitor group or organization. For you guys in healthcare, some of your applications require you to have a certain resolution set for a certain device because of the software compliance. And so you can do this across the board using this management console. Now, the great part about all of this is we've looked at this from a way of deployment. And so the easiest way to do that we could see is for those who've already made that investment in Microsoft Intune, you can use your Intra ID to log into this site. Basically, the first thing you're going to do is authorize your tenant access through third-party applications. Once that tenant is authorized directly using your Intra ID, you'll be able to access this portal. Now, for those of you who don't have Intra or Intune, you can still use your Dell Digital Locker login to access this site. So there is a method that you can use or get access to this, whether you're in Intune or whether you're not in Intune. Now, This is what we're doing for our docking station and some of our peripherals. But I want to walk quickly through what we're doing today with all of our other endpoints. So next slide. And we'll jump through this fairly quickly because some of you guys have, a lot of you have seen this before. So we still have our command suite, which includes Dell Command Update, which updates the software. Software is in firmware, drivers, BIOS of your different systems. Next slide. So we've also introduced Dell Trusted Device. This is a tool that sits local on a machine and really scans the BIOS for any vulnerabilities, any intrusions, and gives you recommendations on how to improve the overall security of that device. As you see on the screen, it scores that device based off of what is needed versus what has already been done. Next slide. Old Faithful, Dell Command Configure. If you need to configure or make any BIOS configuration changes, this is a tool that still gives you that ability to create an executable or create a CCTK or an INI file that gives you the ability to make those configurations, whether you're deploying it out to your entire fleet or dropping it on a thumb drive and going around to individual machines, making that change easily. Next slide. Command Monitor, great tool that gives you insight to what is configured on your system from an OEM level. So being able to understand what thermal management settings have been set in the BIOS, that information can be reported into SCCM or MECM. Also, it can be imported or, exported to a CSV file that you can then manage and review. Next slide. Okay. Dell Optimizer. So still a tool that is very helpful in helping you with the overall performance of your system, giving you power options to set, giving you application optimizations that you can set. The sleeper in this, I'll say, is presence detection. If you have a IMSA camera from Dell, whether your laptop has it or whether you have a standalone, it gives you the ability to do, hey, you just walked away, put my system to sleep. Oh, you're coming back. Wake my system up. Great features built into that tool. Next slide. So, and go ahead and go to the next slide. So I wanted to talk about these two together because we just merged these two tools. So Dell Display Manager is and Dell Peripheral Manager are now Dell Display and Peripheral Manager. Basically, a great tool that gives you the ability to set monitor settings, push firmware for your monitor or displays, and then from a peripheral standpoint, giving you the ability to set all of those configurations, whether you have a collaboration keyboard, which is what we see on the screen now, or if you have a headset. All of these tools are really good at helping you manage the overall experience of your devices. Next slide. Now, those are the tools that we have existing. Two more tools I want to walk through very quickly. Dell Management Portal. This is the tool that we released last year for all. And again, I'm going to step back to all of you who've already made that investment in Microsoft Intune. This is a platform that gives you the ability, once you authorize your tenant, it will then immediately show you all of your Dell devices that have been registered within that tenant. So from this portal, and you can go to the next slide, Austin. From this portal, you'll have the ability to see all of your Dell devices that are registered, as well as the Dell applications that you have the ability to push or publish to your devices directly from Intune. So again, this is a tool that once you authorize your tenant, you then have the ability to push applications directly from Intune. And oh, by the way, not just push, also configure, because now those configurations that you set on the device level, you'll be able to do that directly from Intune and apply it to the group or device or users associated with that tenant. Okay, next slide. And so now the last one that I want to mention is the fact that we now have an integration of a couple of tools. So Dell Client Device Manager is an integration of Dell Command Update and Dell Trusted Device. What this does is it gives you the ability to do what you've been doing with Dell Command Update, but now you can do it directly from Intune. So you import your ADML file, and from there, you can start setting your policy and configuration and deploy that across your fleet, making it extremely easy to get all of your devices updated and then making sure that they all have the same configuration. Like I said, these are Intune or Intra ID associated with associated tools. So, like I mentioned before, Dell Command Update, Dell Trusted Device, these are now integrated through Dell Client Manager. Okay, that's it for me. I'm going to leave you guys with a link, which is dell.com/command. It has basically everything I just talked about. Thank you.